Letter number 1. I don't know if you worry as much about life's matters as I do, but if you do, I invite you to listen to these words. I invite you to reflect on what seems irrelevant today, what seems like a settled matter, according to the modern world we live in, according to the whole big industry that sells us, a single idea of what progress and human well-being mean. We're born, we grow, and we begin to walk a path that presents itself as something natural. We build our dreams and do whatever is necessary to achieve them. It doesn't matter if we succeed or not, but the truth is that we all try. Because this world is built on a single idea of what human evolution means. A horizon that's generally linked to the great needs of capital, even if we don't see it. Especially to the needs of those large capitals, which are destroying everything we see around us. In this account of any human being's life, with the circumstances they've had to live through, reflections on the causality of what we experience have almost no basis. I'm referring to the understanding of historical processes, to the facts that have shaped the world we inhabit today. The present is like a destiny we've been given to live, but whose origin we don't know. And that seems like something very, very far away. This topic might also seem like the exclusive responsibility of a few specialists, but in reality, it should be a concern for everyone, because life in all its expressions cannot be the responsibility of just a few people in the world. That's why I invite you to think, dream, and feel from the perspective that once reigned on this earth, when everything was alive and when we humans had more control over our own lives. A time when we had the possibility of establishing relationships with visible and invisible worlds, and in which everything around us was much more than a mere source to satisfy our needs, as happens in the present. A time that, although it seems distant, is not yet extinct. It's not about idealizing the past, nor is it about considering that there are human beings or groups that should be seen as a sort of prototype or role model. What we want to build here is simply a possibility. It's the act of pointing out that a door exists, which may or may not be opened. It's not about building dogmas or large theoretical models to guide our behavior. It's about reflecting together on certain principles that have guided many peoples in the world throughout human history, and that can also be useful for us at this moment in history. Humanity is a big and complex word, but it's also small and simple. This sounds contradictory, but it isn't. Humanity is composed of billions of different people, with an amalgam of colors and beliefs that we anthropologists have documented, described, and mapped to exhaustion. But amidst so much fragmentation, we've forgotten the possibility of seeking commonalities, that which makes us human. There, we return to the point where humanity can also be a simple word, where it can simply become a manifestation of life like any other, like the flowers, like the bees we find around us, like the water we drink and that bathes us, or like the stars that look down at us from the sky. For this entire reflection we are building now, it is necessary to do an exercise and start from a single basic idea. Every person is a person, or as they say in Haiti, Tap Moun Simon. All people have the same needs, capacities, and possibilities. What changes is the way we have to satisfy those needs, apply our capacities, and develop our possibilities. In all cases, our behavior is repeated over and over again until it forms social institutions that respond to the historical context to which we belong. We all need to feed the body and the soul, but at this moment, in which we are going through a dominance of the Western world, we have learned to satisfy our needs in only one way, under certain patterns. Furthermore, we have learned to prioritize material nourishment and to consider the rest as something obsolete and unnecessary. In the fragmented world in which we were born, we have lost the possibility of observing the spiritual dimension of our existence and keeping it present in our daily lives. We have also forgotten the institutional framework that can be woven around it. In short, we have lost the sacred memory. To reach this moment of rupture, a countless number of processes have occurred. There are many stories that we will have to tell, and that we will address little by little in this space. We will talk, for example, about how what Annabel Quijano has called the coloniality of power has brought with it the loss of the principles of our spiritual institutions. We must talk about principles, as it would be wrong to consider that in these lands from where I speak, present-day Ecuador, there was and is only one type of faith, the same gods. No, this is not true. But we can talk about principles that were common, as they have been common for many peoples in the world, such as considering that we human beings are an extension of divinity itself. We are a beautiful dimension of the whole. And what is the whole? In many places, the existence of people can be seen and understood if it is not in a relationship with all the elements in their environment. What happens in our lives can't be divorced from the stars, the water, the plants. These beings also have life, and because they are alive, it is possible to have some kind of communication with them. Furthermore, reality is formed by many levels, material and immaterial. So, when talking about the whole, we refer to the set of visible and invisible elements within which human existence is woven. That is to say, apart from the link with what we call nature today, there are other planes that we do not see, but that are equally important for life. Planes that, unfortunately, today are relegated to views of superstition, unnecessary, obsolete, and expired beliefs. Here lies, for example, the possibility of communicating with ancestors, the possibility of intuiting, of knowing things beyond Cartesian rationality. This, of course, implies the application of another type of knowledge, and the use of other parts of our body, which have also been relegated to the background. There are some moments in which we can be aware of everything, small gaps of time and space that manifest innocently and naturally, and can even seem like the smile of a little one being happy in the arms of their father or mother, whether as people or as primal forces. Like when we encounter the chuquiragles, these beautiful orange flowers only grow in the moorlands. When we climb through the Andean mountains and reach the highest parts, there they are. They welcome us and indicate that we are about to embrace the sky, to set aside the earth, to embrace that which has almost no form. We are very close to encountering a breeze of peace for the soul, a caress that we sometimes call God, or an embrace from nature. However the moment is labeled, the fact is the same. This is the reunion with the deepest part of life. It is the connection with everything. These moments exist, and despite how wonderful they can be, their existence is terribly tarnished in light of what we are living in this stage of history, a chapter characterized by a marked capitalist globalizing process that has led us to extreme production and consumerism. There are many ingredients present in the cake we have to live today, and it is necessary to analyze them to understand that they are simply circumstantial. A set of facts that, although sold as a manifest destiny, are nothing more than passing facts. Ideas, forms, institutions that accompany us today, but that tomorrow can and must evolve to guarantee life, the continuity of life, especially human life. Because finally, life always changes and will change, but what we don't know is what will happen to human life if we continue existing the way we currently do. Thus, between the past that wants to slip away and modern human affairs, the millennial Ceiba is born. The Ceiba has been considered as sacred tree for many peoples. For the Mayans in Central America, the Yakshe, as they know it, is a bridge that allows the connection between the sky and the world below. In the Ecuadorian Amazon, it still occupies a very special place in the communities of indigenous peoples. And the Ceiba has also been very important on the Ecuadorian coast, the land of my own ancestors. This beautiful tree, with its infinite possibilities of connecting life at all levels, today lends us its name for this beautiful project. The Ceiba, then, carries not only the name of the sacred tree, but also its function, that of building links between human beings and everything. La Ceiba is a space where we focus on understanding how this relationship unfolds on its many levels. From the direct connection with the earth, through planting and harvesting food, for instance, to the existing mechanisms to connect with other non-material dimensions of reality through shamanism, for example. In this sense, what we seek through La Ceiba is to work on reconnection, on the reconstruction of the bonds with the whole. Our goal is to build a collective reflection and motivate whoever is interested to express this knowledge in their own reality, in the circumstances they've had to live. To be able to continue with the tasks of La Ceiba, we must start from several premises, such as the following. 1. Life unfolds in the midst of a much larger stage that is made up of networks, which can sometimes be called gods, God, energies, forces, whatever their name may be. The idea is that there are greater and deeper forces within which human life is woven. If we think of it as a metaphor for water, we could say that water in some places is born from the mountain. There it is, lying in a dark environment beneath the earth. But at some point it comes out of the darkness and we begin to see it. When they're born, their small sprouts form what in this land is known as a water eye. Perhaps that's when, due to the habit of our utilitarian relationship with the world, we begin to observe it. Because we're thirsty, because we need to drink from it, but at the same time, we ignore the dark world it came from, what it had to go through and travel to reach this point. To know water beyond its vital function for our body, we need to venture into this other dark side, into that world we don't see, because this is what will feed our soul, another part of us that is barely valued today. It's precisely when we understand the existence of these two parts that the possibility arises to assimilate the greater principles upon which life is woven. It's the search for or the remembrance of God, but not as a miracle worker, but as a force or energy of which we are also a part. 2. The proposal of La Ceiba implies a new conception of politics. Why is a new conception of politics necessary? Because regardless of the Greek origin of the term, this concept encompasses all matters relating to life. And as Rita Segato points out, today politics has suffered a kidnapping. That has confined it to the public world and to the needs of the patriarchal political system we're going through. Furthermore, this has led to the guidelines that guide the life of every human being in this world being made in a few places. Thanks to these global structures, we're told what to eat, what to learn, how to heal ourselves, what to think about, and what not to. We should also note that we're usually used to seeing politics from the anthropocentric perspective proposed by Carl Schmitt. For him, political praxis is based on the distinction between friend and enemy. And who is this enemy? It's simply the other, the stranger, and to determine their essence, it's enough for them to be existentially different and strange in a particularly intensive sense, he says. Carl Schmitt's political conception was born from the European wartime context to which he belonged. He was born in Germany in 1888 and was a member of the National Socialist Party. And his conception of the political has been so important that today it's at the heart of international relations. His proposal involves identifying what distinguishes us as human beings, and generally these boundaries are established based on state territorial limits or the needs of capital. But even though at this point in history we fight to define the physical borders of states, or to secure sources of raw materials for production or consumer markets, the truth is that life works on another level, which becomes more evident at this moment when we face a massive climate crisis that is showing us that the Earth is one. When we call it that, climate crisis, words like variable, equation, syllogism come to mind. Any of those words that hide or reject a sense of something deeper, those discourses we invent to speak partially about things. Given the world we live in and the way of looking at life we were raised with, the climate crisis appears before our eyes as just another set of data about what we conceive as the environment. It's a collection of news about excessive rain in one place and a lack of water in another, but without much reflection on the causes of this whole disaster we're living through. At this point in history, when we get this kind of news, we must stop and think about what is happening. In every corner of the earth, it's cold or hot in ways that didn't happen before. In the case of Quito, where I live, the sun slowly eats away at us. And its presence, besides becoming almost permanent, has turned into a kind of monster that forces us to stay locked inside the house. It's in this scenario where daily life is becoming plagued with global-scale problems, but it's necessary to reflect on the world we live in from every corner where we find ourselves. We must ask ourselves how we lost our connection with what we conceive as nature and what we're doing to create this whole disaster that's affecting us all. It's in this context that we must rethink the concept of the political. We must reflect on what our relationship with life in all its expressions should be, to go beyond the will of big capital, especially those who are destroying life in all its dimensions. The conceptions of life that govern us today are generating a crisis that will undermine the possibility of existence for future generations. Today, we enjoy many things that surely won't exist tomorrow. A new conception of the political must include all aspects relating to life, and this also includes death. For the political is not simply the relationship between human beings, and even less so human beings in conflict, but its conception must include all aspects that are necessary for existence. Aspects that go far beyond the material issues to which we are accustomed, because what is at stake is also food for the soul. At Ceiba Milenaria, we will work on all of this. We will work by researching, building concepts, seeking to name that which today seems extinct, and restoring that which we consider to be vital for humanity, such as sacred memory. This is our proposal. It is an initiative that does not seek the construction of dogmas, as many of the ideas that we are going to propose here have been demonized, persecuted, and it has caused the deaths of hundreds and thousands of people throughout history. Whether through the processes of inquisition that have passed, or through the institutions that have replicated these modes of operation at different levels. It is worth mentioning that at Ceiba, we will not promote debates. We will pass like a hummingbird that approaches the flowers, showing its beauty and the rapid flapping of its small wings. It depends on who encounters the hummingbird, whether they wish to stay to see its beauty or whether they wish to ignore it and continue on their way. Thank you very much.